What if I told you that one of the most dominant runs in the history of college football at the quarterback position occurred only over the span of 3 games? There was no preseason hype, no Heisman campaign, and definitely no 5-star and All-American credentials on their resume. Just 3 starts, a conference championship, and a national title. In 2014, the Ohio State Buckeyes had national title aspirations, with an All-American returning at the quarterback position. But due to unforeseen events, their starting quarterback went down with a devastating injury before the season even began. And later that year, against their hated rivals, their backup quarterback was injured and lost for the season, and they had to lean on their third-string quarterback. And not only did that third stringer rise to the occasion, he managed to dominate the Alabama Crimson Tide and the Oregon Ducks in order to become the first quarterback to win the college football playoff. This is the story of the unbelievable rise and sudden downfall of third-string quarterback Cardale Jones. If you like this type of content, please be sure to like and subscribe so you'll never miss an episode of College Football Legends. So without further delay, let's jump right into our topic today.
The 2014 Ohio State Buckeye season wasn't supposed to end with the national championship. It began with Braxton Miller, one of the most electric quarterbacks in the country, returning for his senior year. The Ohio State Buckeyes had national championship expectations, and Miller was the clear leader of that offense. And then, before the season even began, disaster struck. Braxton Miller suffered a season-ending injury to his shoulder in training camp before he even took a snap. Suddenly, Ohio State turned to their redshirt freshman, J.T. Barrett. J.T. Barrett out of Wichita Falls, Texas, a 6'2", 220-pound dual-threat quarterback himself. He wasn't supposed to be the star of that offense, but instead of just holding down the fort, he thrived. Outside of an early loss to Virginia Tech, the Buckeyes ran the table, and by November, J.T. Barrett looked like the quarterback that was going to take the Ohio State Buckeyes to the inaugural college football playoff. And then, suddenly, in the final regular season game of the year, everything changed. Late in their rivalry game against the Michigan Wolverines, J.T. Barrett suffered a devastating broken ankle, and just like that, his season was over. The Ohio State Buckeyes had now lost 2 quarterbacks, with everything still on the line. Despite that devastating injury to J.T. Barrett late in the season against their hated rivals, they were able to close out the Michigan Wolverines in a push to the college football playoff. However, in regards to their offense, that only left one option, and that was Cardale Jones, a 6'5", 250-pound raw, powerful, and largely unproven quarterback prospect, a former Glenville High School standout, the same program that had produced Ted Ginn Jr. and former Heisman winner Troy Smith. Cardale Jones looks like a prototype NFL quarterback. However, few believed he could actually play like one. A third-string quarterback leading a playoff contender, critics immediately questioned if Ohio State even belonged in the playoffs at all. And next up for the Buckeyes was the Big Ten championship game against the Wisconsin Badgers. Ohio State, with a third-string quarterback, walked into Lucas Oil Stadium to face the Wisconsin Badgers with one of the nation's top defenses, and Cardale Jones delivered one of the most shocking performances that college football has ever seen. Ohio State just didn't win. They dominated 59-0. Cardale Jones was calm, confident, and composed. He threw for 260 yards and 3 touchdowns, attacking downfield and commanding the offense like a veteran. In one night, doubt turned into disbelief, but one question remained. Could this possibly continue? Because up next was the Alabama Crimson Tide. The inaugural college football playoff semifinal was held in New Orleans, Louisiana, in the Superdome, and Ohio State was going to face college football royalty and the gold standard in championship caliber football, with the legendary Nick Saban leading the Crimson Tide with elite athletes everywhere and NFL talent on both sides of the ball. This is where this run was supposed to abruptly end. Instead, Cardale Jones and Ezekiel Elliott became unstoppable. Jones used his physical size and arm strength to keep the Alabama defense honest, and Ezekiel Elliott punished him on the ground, rushing for over 230 yards. And when Ohio State needed a play, Cardale Jones delivered, and when Alabama made mistakes, the Ohio State Buckeyes defense capitalized, and the final score was 42-35. A third-string quarterback had just taken down the terror from Tuscaloosa, the mighty Alabama Crimson Tide. After Ohio State's convincing victory over a program that had dominated the national championship conversation for nearly a decade, waiting on them next in the national championship game was the Oregon Ducks, led by Marcus Mariota, the eventual Heisman Trophy winner. And this was expected to be an offensive shootout, Instead, it was absolute domination. Ohio State controlled the game from the opening kickoff. Cardale Jones played mistake-free football, and Ezekiel Elliott dominated on the ground with 246 yards rushing. And for the second straight playoff game, Ohio State scored 42 points, and the final score was 42-20 over the Oregon Ducks. And just in 3 starts, Cardale Jones became a national champion and the first quarterback to ever win the college football playoff. After that dramatic victory in the national championship against the Oregon Ducks, it was over. The following season in 2015 brought confusion and controversy. Ohio State suddenly had 3 quarterbacks. As opposed to the previous season, they were struggling to find one quarterback to avoid injury. JT Barrett returned healthy, and Braxton Miller came back as well. However, he moved to wide receiver. And in the opening game against the Virginia Tech Hokies, Braxton Miller gave us one of the most memorable touchdown receptions in recent memory. Cardale Jones was named the starter at the beginning of the season. However, the magic was gone. With Cardale Jones under center for the 2015 season, the Ohio State offense struggled mightily, and he was wildly inconsistent as their starting quarterback. And eventually, the coaching staff went with JT Barrett, and he regained the starting job for that season. And he was able to post multiple dominant seasons as the starting quarterback for the Ohio State Buckeyes. Despite all of this, Cardale Jones declared early for the NFL draft as a junior, and NFL teams loved his traits, his arm strength, his physical size, and his mobility. But traits weren't enough. Cardale Jones, despite being drafted in the 4th round of the NFL draft, bounced around practice squads, alternative leagues, and never found stability as a pro. Meanwhile, JT Barrett, although a statistically superior quarterback who displayed leadership and consistency for the Ohio State Buckeyes, went undrafted and never stuck on an NFL roster as well.
So tell me, how should we remember Cardale Jones? Was he just lucky, or was he too big, fast, and strong for college defenses in that brief window of time? Or was declaring early for the NFL draft limiting his overall experience and therefore hurting him in the pros? For a brief moment in time, Cardale Jones wasn't just a backup, he was unstoppable. 3 games, 2 playoff wins, a conference championship, and a national championship. Greatness doesn't always last, but it can remain in our minds and our hearts forever. So tell me, what do you think? Give me your thoughts in the comment section below. But more importantly, I want you to join our community of college football enthusiasts. And to do that, you have to like this video and subscribe to our channel. And remember, when you subscribe, not only are you joining our community of college football enthusiasts, you'll never miss an episode of College Football Legends. Until next time.